Hi.
Ready to go? Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
I'm so happy to see you again, and
Of
I'm
course.
excited about this episode.
This is the second time we're getting together because the first time we've got some great response and folks that are learning about what we are a little bit.
Yes.
So this is very like impromptu, like acting, right?
It really
This is improv.
And it's so natural, and I love that. And
Yeah.
the feedback that I received is, you guys are a really great team together. You guys understand each other, and we're able to understand you. And I was like, that's the whole goal here.
Absolutely. That's what I love about, the conversation we have, because it's not about being scripted, because sometimes it's so scripted, it's so robotic, and I don't want to be robotic. I mean organic. I want to be able to have a conversation with you and just topic we talk about, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But, there are specific topics we want to talk about. Today, I really want to talk about your Armenian culture as much as we want to talk about my Laotian culture.
Of course.
How beautiful it is that we can come from two different worlds, yet meet here and yet have some similarity as well too. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your upbringing in the Armenian community.
Absolutely. So I was raised in a very traditional household, meaning the food, the environment, the culture, it's very embedded into my parents' traditions, and those traditions really showcase from their heart. And I think that's the beauty of it when it comes to hospitality and being prepared to showcase who you are as an individual. It's through a feast, right? So when you come to my house, you will see a table full of all sorts of delicacies, traditional dishes that our grandparents made, back during the genocide time frames, and it was passed down, and it becomes more sacred to us because we knew that our grandmother that was maybe a part of the genocide or whatever it may be, she had a recipe that continued on, and it was passed on to our parents, and our parents kept the tradition, and here we are with a giant feast to showcase all that.
That's what I love about it, because I have, throughout the years, I've been connected with the Armenian community, especially going to the house, the hospitality. It's very much so same as the Laotian. When you come into our community, into our house, I said, have you eaten?
Yeah.
That's the phrase, right? Have you eaten? He gives you the drink, continues to eat, please. And, even though you're full, you take a little nibble just to,
Yes.
this is the respect that we have. And I love the fact that you carry on. And now, you talked about there's a huge history. You talk about the Armenian genocide. I know a while back I did a tribute. We did a celebration at your mom's bakery. So tell me the history about, because there's connection. Now, were you born here, or were you born in overseas and you came here?
Great question.
Yeah.
I was born in Armenia,
Okay.
and I was 3 years old when we migrated to Los Angeles, and I turned 3 on the train over to Moscow.
Wow.
So before onboarding the plane, I remember I got my fingers stuck in between the window, and all of the individuals in that train were trying to figure out, how do we bring that window down without breaking her finger? It was the most traumatic experience of my life, but I do remember once we onboarded the plane, I had a bruised finger, and I still remember that experience.
At 3 years old.
At 3 years old. And then the most beautiful experience is when we landed in Los Angeles, the entertainment world kind of subsided there, meaning they had statued individuals just standing there, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the statue, but it starts to dance right next to you. So as a child, we didn't have such a thing in Armenia. So to be exposed to a different world was really eye-opening for a 3-year-old.
Absolutely. I can totally attest to that, because as you said, you were born in Armenia. Like I say, Armenian and Armenia. I was Armenian in Laos.
Wow. That's so cool.
I was born in Laos during the time of the Vietnam War era.
Wow.
And very much so. And coming to America through the process of being a refugee, escaping, all those things, and experience a plane ride,
for the first time.
For the first time, and trying foods you never tried before.
How old were you?
I was 6 years old.
Oh,
6 years old when I left Laos.
Wow.
And coming here like 6, 7 years old when I came to the States. There was a lot of process that we do, especially when you're coming from the country. I know even when the time in the Armenian genocide, people had to go. Some people had to flee. I know some people went to Syria and other countries, and trying to, and then finally come here. But they're all scattered because of the war and dispersed. like most Laotian refugees, they're in Australia, they're in Canada, they're in France,
Wow.
they go wherever it is in the United States. So, and I love that about our community, our culture. But what I love about it is our upbringing.
Our upbringing. It's special. It's
Yeah.
unique. It's different. It's very disciplined.
Mhm.
It's very structured.
Mhm.
It's also um, following your heart and
Mhm.
following your soul and not straying from what you were taught. And I
Absolutely.
think that's the most beautiful thing is holding on to those traditions, migrating them over to our children, exposing them of what it was like for us to
Mhm.
grow up in this disciplined life,
Yeah.
structured life, and having them adapt to it because a lot of people these days that are
Mhm.
not in the culture
Mhm.
or have an understanding of the culture, they are not exposed to those elements,
Mhm.
you know? And I think when they're exposed to it, they're like, wow, where has this been in my life? How
Right.
come I was never treated this way until you meet a heart like an
Yeah.
Armenian or,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
It's a little different.
I think sometimes people take it for granted. Like they
do.
forget, they push aside. I want to be an American, and even
Right.
I want to forget about the culture. I want to be as far distance as we can, and then to later the life, they're like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful. And now this is where the most important things I ask is the language
Oh,
in your
yes.
home. I know your parents will speak Armenian, and the communication, and they also encourage you to speak English when you're outside the home. So, what were some of the rules that your home speaks
We're
Armenian and
going deep
outside?
here. We're
Because
going deep.
we're in the same thing, you know?
So I did marry outside of the
'Kay.
culture, and that was the biggest challenge of my life because I had my father, my uncles, all my relatives kind of have a moment with me and say, "Are you sure this is the right choice?"
Mhm.
And as they became familiar with my husband, his cultural background, who he was as an
Mhm.
individual, and what he brought to the table, I think they eased up on the culture. But the feedback was always water doesn't mix with vodka,
That's what I
right?
know. Both
Best
clear,
way to put it.
but taste different, but
Yes.
smells different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I had the analogy, you know, you don't mix an eagle with a pigeon.
Yeah.
And so growing up and experiencing the challenges of being respectful to your own kind, but also making the wise choice
Mhm.
of what's right for you.
Absolutely.
I followed my heart. I don't regret the decision one bit. My father always says, you know, I wouldn't trade my husband with any Armenian at this point
Mhm.
because he became an Armenian to
Sure.
my parents.
Sure.
He adapted to the culture, he adapted to our ways, and he
Mhm.
loves and respects the culture. With me, when it comes to speaking Armenian, it's with my family,
Mhm.
and Eric kind of hears everything on the sidelines, and
Uh-huh.
after 16,
Yeah.
17 years, he's picked up and is able to have certain words, but he can't formulate a
Sure.
full-on sentence. It's
Sure.
not easy to learn a new language, obviously.
Absolutely.
And I really wanted my daughters to learn, but they're so Americanized that I didn't push the language on them. However, the beauty is that my parents still speak Armenian to the girls, and the girls pick up on words and they're able to respond back, and they have their own dialect. Even though they can't speak full-on Armenian, they understand what grandma is asking of them.
Absolutely.
And
That's beautiful about it because I hear it in my nephews and nieces too, and we know the same thing too. That's how I was able to maintain my Laotian language. Is able to
right.
speak at home, speak with grandma.
Can you
Uh,
say something?
yeah, sabadi. Sabadi is mean
Sabaidi.
hi.
Uh-huh.
Kopchai means thank you. Kopchai means thank you from the heart.
Kopchai.
Kop is to say something. Chai is heart.
Chai.
So everything has meaning, right? Our language is very meaningful.
It
It
is.
has things, and as we pass, as we generations, I'm more of a conversational Laotian speaking. I can't read
Nice.
or write because I only can speak.
Same.
And if I give a big speech, political speech, or like a big speech up, I'll stumble. But more conversation, I understand more than anything. I listen to the music. We celebrate,
Oh, yes.
and that's what thing about culture is the food, the music, the gathering. That's what our teaching our kids,
Right.
and what to love and to enjoy, each other so much. So I know that now. Talking about the Armenian culture, I know food is huge,
Very.
very, very big. In the same as Laotian food, we call it food is connection
Right.
because we bring things from home, from the homeland,
Right.
and then we had to adapt to what's here. And then we also, when we move, we were trying to find other folks in the community, and we gather as a community and sharing things.
Yes.
And so let's talk about food. I mean, I love tons of stuff from the community.
I would say the number one reason why I cannot get into the best shape of my life is because my mom embedded in me that your children have to eat a home cooked meal every day. And I try not to go out and buy food. I make it my best ability to implement what my mother has taught me, even though if I'm tired, what have you, when I sit them down on the table and I watch them consume the food and the happiness around the table, that means 20 times more to me than anything else would. And my mom has a habit of saying, finish your food, and here's more. Oh, do you want this? Now it's dessert time. Now it's coffee time. It doesn't matter if it's midnight. You're having your dessert and coffee because grandma said so. So I've adapted a little bit of my mother in me as well. And so if you ever come to my house, it doesn't end with just one feast. It just keeps on going and going until you're ready to leave. Sometimes that could be till 3 a.m. in the morning. It doesn't matter.
It's a celebration.
It is.
I know. We love our food. We love our drinks.
Oh, yes.
And we love to party.
Yes.
We love to gather. And the music.
The music is so important because not only is it historically reinvented and reestablished for people to have that moment with their family where they resemble and understand that sound, but it's more advanced. It's more in the future version of it. And the beauty of just dancing Armenian with your mom and dad. Once the music goes on, they're just
everybody
ready
gets
to go.
Grandma, grandpa, they did too. They get and I love sometimes when I go to gatherings, especially community, and then the elder gets together and they start singing songs from the whole country as they remember their childhood, things that just reminiscing, right? I hear that a lot. Even my Laotian community, they get together, they have food, they drink, the music, the heart, everything comes out.
And it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
And that's so beautiful because that's what you remember. The next day you're like, gosh, that was the best time ever. Why can't we do that more? I know it's a lot of production and a lot of time that goes into it, but it's the memory that's been left behind. It's the pictures that our kids can look back and say, wow, look at all this. Look at this culture. Look at the vibrance. Look at the colors. Look at the music. Look at the experience. And all that is, it's gold.
I think the memory, you talk about memories is very important. I know special holiday celebration. I know the Lao New Year is coming up.
Yes.
Where we gather, the temple, everything we know. And the New Year comes, starting fresh, new harvest and celebration. I know some events that they get together as Armenian culture. How often do you go? And when you go, the whole family gather, or you go travel down to Glendale or other areas, connect with other folk as well? Did you guys do that?
Great question. So we have the 14th annual festival coming up at our church, St. Paul Church, Armenian Church. And I'm looking forward to that because I get a vendor booth set up there. But the most important is I get to connect of my kind. And also the fact that I'm able to provide on-the-spot home valuations, discuss their home selling or buying needs, but more so enjoying the time with them and getting to know them and making that connection. So that's an exciting component for me that's coming up on May 9th, which I would really love for you to come.
Oh, I would love to.
We'll dance together, we'll eat the food, we'll shoot some great shots and have a great day.
That's a bit of a events festival, food booth, food seller, and everybody comes. And I love the potluck kind of thing.
Oh,
when church or a family gathering, when this auntie or the uncle or the family start bringing little pieces together and they have a table and we just feast. And that's
I love that.
And that's what we do. Or sometimes, we haven't made certain dishes that nobody makes at a restaurant, but a certain family makes. Like, I have to have that.
What's your favorite dish?
A variety. There's a variety of things that, especially when mom makes something. Does your mom still call you and say, hey, what are you doing? I have something. I'm going to bring something over to your house, even though you don't need it? She does it
all the time.
Wow.
Because she knows I work 2 jobs. By the time I'm home, sometimes she's like, I'm going to drive by even though it's 45 minutes away and I'm dropping you off Tolma so you don't have to sit there and wrap it, but at least the kids get to enjoy it.
Yeah, my mom does the same thing too.
Right?
Like, she go, I'm passing Church. I see your house is a car. Hey, I got some food. Hey, I made something. I was thinking about you. Like, I got to drive over, pick some stuff. Or she comes in, bunch of baggy, packed food.
they will never come empty-handed.
No.
Mothers of ours,
Yeah.
my mom will come with like 5 bags
Yeah.
of different things. And one is like clothes for the kids, one
Yeah.
is food, one is fruit.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's variations of fruit.
Or the cut 'em piece, like, mom, you don't have to cut 'em, but they're like, because I think that's love. That is
It
so
is.
much
It's a
love.
love
That is so
language.
much of the thinking about you
Mhm.
and gathering, and when we celebrate, we celebrate life and we also celebrate death as well too. And these are all,
Absolutely.
when we have culture, we have ritual things that we
Mhm.
do. And a lot of people, may not understand, but I love when people are open to learn, to connect. And sometimes there are similarities that we think we're different. We're not.
We're not.
We're not. And the
Mhm.
things, the journey you went through as, growing up in Armenia, coming to America, I had the same thing, adjusting to the culture shock,
Right. Mhm.
adjusting to the language. I only knew 3 words: yes, no, and absent. Right? It's yes is good, no is bad. Absent is bad when you miss school.
You just brought up a good point about school.
Yeah.
I remember when I started school, a lot of the teachers in LA, they were a little bit of a bully,
Yeah.
right? Because you were different.
Yes.
And it was taking you longer to learn. And so I remember being punished for being an outsider.
Mhm.
However, it fueled me
Yeah.
to keep up with the momentum and be a part of the group. I would not sleep. I would educate myself. I would be in books. I would write things out until I finally comprehended it. But
Yeah.
it took me a little bit
Yeah.
to become a straight A student. I think the first 3 years of my life, I was like, what is going on?
It's adjustment. That's a
It was
culture
so
shock
hard.
adjustment. When I was a kid growing up, a refugee, I grew up in Illinois.
Oh, wow. Different
Saw
lifestyle.
snow for the first time. It's cold. And we went to school. My parents would do a card.
Oh,
Name, my phone number, emergency address, because it was
remember
without, and then we would tape it, so like laminate, but we didn't have laminate, we taped it. So we take it cards, so we know we had questions and we get lost and we had there. So those are things that was adjustment. Even when going to school, I didn't have a lot of the Asian kids. It's just my aunt and my cousin, my family, and then a Korean adopted kid and an Indian kid. And it was just adjustment. But I wanted to make friends so bad. Like I later
too.
but everything was so signed with it, language and
Right.
commonality. It took me a while, and I would fumble with word. I was shy and scared too
Mhm.
at the same time.
But look at us now.
Now I know we're in the very business, but the work ethic that we talk
Yes.
about is very foundation in both of our community.
Yeah.
Working hard from grandparents, parents working hard. Even like I saw your mom in the bakery, and she's retired, continue on the business, and everybody's working really hard. It's like we get things done, no matter how long it is.
My mom
know?
always instilled me, do it now,
Yeah.
do it now, do it now. There's never like do it later.
Yeah.
So I've adapted that and I never regret it. And
Yeah.
here's the beauty of my father,
Mhm.
because I haven't tapped into that yet.
Yeah.
When we came to Los Angeles, my father didn't have a job. He didn't know how he was going to survive or take care of this family. We lived in West Hollywood, and I would call it the most dangerous side of town on Lexington Avenue. I'll never forget the street. But we were family in that group. And what that essentially means is we were around gangbangers,
Yeah.
but we became their family. So we were protected because we would eat their food. They would eat our food.
Yeah.
My dad, he was a mechanic in Armenia. So when he came here, he would fix up all of our neighborhood's cars.
Yeah.
That was his way of bringing income in.
Nice.
I would count pennies to go buy bread. I mean, we've went through the hardship to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
And I think that really says so much about your character and your
Absolutely.
ethics and your hard work, is because you went through the trouble. You went through the hardship, and you know what it's like to start from ground zero and go all the way up. And my parents were a beautiful example of that. And I don't regret any of it, because even those toughest times where we didn't even have a mattress, we were sleeping on the ground until we could afford a mattress. I was thankful and grateful for even having the ground.
Yeah. I think it sets up where you are today. The same thing I was going through when I was a kid. Dad was an educator, spoke different language, but even coming here, he had to adjust. Did odd jobs. Mom the same thing too. Work factory jobs, work in the farms, do what we can to survive. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people.
Ugh.
Small, like tiny apartment, everything the church provided, and do what we can.
Right.
And I saw my father work really hard to get where we're at, and it ingrains in us.
It does.
And both sides, my mom's the same way too. Both educated, but then coming here, adjustment. I have survived.
Huge adjustment.
But one thing that I think my father was like, we don't fall backward, we fall forward.
Yes.
We keep this. We don't make excuses. We're not victims, we're survivors.
We are.
And those are the things that is ingrained in me. And then also now, what in our profession, what we do, it ingrained us in what you do, and you'll be successful at being in the position, the real estates, helping others, and managing these millions of dollar account. That's responsibility. But that foundation was learned through your parents and the community.
And I'm so thankful for that because when I look at a house, it's not really just about the house, right? Yeah. Everyone thinks it is, but it's really about the timing.
Yes.
It's the emotion.
Yes.
It's the money, and it's the change that comes with it. So my job is never to pressure people. My job is to bring them clarity. Yeah. And when I'm looking at a property, I'm not looking at just the property. I'm looking at the person, the moment, and then the next strategy move, right? So ultimately, I think all of that is really defined by how I was raised and the details. It's all the intricacies within the details, working hard, pushing the envelope, never giving up on yourself, having full faith in God that everything's going to work out and it's going to work out to the best of its ability. And I thank my parents for all that. Yeah. I am who I am because of them.
I do the same thing. The thing that I do, my fire, my passion. Even when my dad says, whatever you're gonna do, go at 100+%.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's everything has to be hard work. There's nothing given to you. Nothing is given to you. You got to work hard, and don't worry about anybody else. Just work on what you the best. You be the best version of you. And learn every day.
Yes.
And I can, the same thing with your business, especially somebody buying a new house. That's a new house to save money. And a family and a young couple was afford a first house. That's like a big accomplishment.
It is.
I remember my parents, when we moved here, they finally bought a house. Wow. Oh my gosh, with a pool.
Same.
Right by Sierra Vista Mall. And it was like, we're all happy, but my dad and mom worked so hard so that they can provide for us. And there was one accomplishment that we had, and I saw that, and I saw the joy that my mom, and then continue on as we got success. He was able to buy other properties, and even my mom today, she has multiple properties, and
look where they had started.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about what both of our community and both our parents have started from nothing, come from another country, coming here, starting from scratch, not playing the victim, being a survivor, working really hard, doing whatever, even though they've done multiple things over the country, educated, took little jobs. And as kids, we knew what parents, and we didn't ask for anything. We knew what mom and dad was working hard, and we didn't
we never asked for anything or complained or said, someone had this
every year, like with new school year, we get one new items.
Yes.
But it's a hand-me-down, things and stuff. Third, my first bike was a banana bike. The banana bike was trash. My dad found it and he fixed it, and I learned how to ride that bike.
Wow.
Everything was second, third hand, but we were very appreciative.
Very appreciative.
And that's what I love about, that's how you and I get along, because we understand, we're very Americanized somewhat, but at the same time, we hold tradition. We value our community. We value the culture that we have, and especially we're trying to give back. Especially when you work with the people in the community,
right?
You know the do's and don'ts, and also we know how to face the criticism too.
Oh yes,
there's a good and bad.
The art of dealing with people, right? It comes with your strong negotiation skills, your communication skills, your ability to connect with that individual, and understanding that individual and where they're coming from, and not judging that individual based on their lack thereof. If they can't financially do A, B, and C at this moment, that doesn't mean 6 months from now they can't prep themselves to get ready. They just need the right expert to gear and guide them there. You just touched on a point I wanted to bring up. My mom, before she got into the bakery business, obviously she was a professional chef in my eyes. She just knew how to make everything just immaculate.
Home cooking,
just natural raw talent, right? And I just remember when she wanted to open up a bakery, she said, I want a pub. And I said, pub? Mom, do you know what a pub is, right? And she was watching Days of Our Lives at that time. She was so into her soap operas, and she was learning English from it. I'm so proud of my mom. Both my parents went to college right away, and they educated themselves to learn the language so that they have a better chance.
Yeah.
And during that time, I said, Mom, is the putt from Days of Our Lives what you're looking for? Is that what you want? She had envisioned it. She had a drawing board.
Yeah.
She had told us exactly what she wanted, how it should be, but it's all Armenianized, and what type of pastries she would have, from the baklavas, burma. She had the vision all together. And the opportunity came, and my dad was in a position to be able to purchase the bakery. And when she onboarded, she was the most happiest person you had ever met in your life. She would give free products to anybody that walked in through her door. She would sit down with them and have coffee. She established a relationship not based on the money that she was going to receive, but based on the hearts that are going to love her.
Absolutely.
And that's something so beautiful to me, that sometimes when I walk in, that I've seen clients like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and I see them older and they see me older, we hug and we cry. We're like, last time I saw you, you were 11 years old, you know? And it was such a beautiful experience to have, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
I think you touched on something about giving back, especially I watched my parents, my dad. When my dad passed away, I didn't realize how many people knew him, what the kindness he did, the community. He would work on a job, then he would help people transition, especially coming to the country, need things, paperwork, or he'll go to their house and fix certain things.
Wow.
Out of his not a regular work. Even though work, he'll go on weekends, but on weekends he would love to have his family together, like family, aunts, uncles. When we bought the property, my dad would invite them. We have a barbecue. We would sing. That's so about trust and building relationship. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important key about in business and anything that we've done is building that rapport and relation established before we actually do business.
Right. And sometimes it's not about prepping. It's about studying and positioning, right? And a lot of people don't understand that component of it because they feel rushed in the process. It's usually a rushed decision to do their next move. But sometimes when they just take a seat back, they allow an expert to look at the holistics of everything and map it out for them. Then they're like, oh, these are my steps. Okay, this is not as overwhelming. Then after that, there's more steps. But people just jump so fast and then they get themselves into trouble because they lose money at the end of the day.
And because it's a lot of time they're not thinking that the more emotion. That's why you have expert like you who are a guide who can sit down and conversation and understand the financial stuff that deal with the situation. The same thing as I do my business in film and art entertainment. Everyone wants to be direct. Everyone makes a film without understanding the strategy, the process, the patient of not rushing to get things done. And those are things that are key. Well, we can talk about everything. We can have so much things we can talk about. I think we can wrap it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And kindness is key, right? It's all about the kindness here.
It's always, the phrase that my dad always used, and I always say it, laugh, smile, and serve others with unconditional love.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that is very important. And I'm glad that I got a chance to sit down with you and learn a bit more about your background.
Thank you.
Growing up, I didn't know you were born in Armenia.
Nobody does, actually.
Yeah, I thought because our English is so good. When we're little, it's like we have strong accent, but now.
You know why? Because we were ambitious to fit in.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to be a part of everybody and not feel like I had a lack.
It's assimilating, but not forgetting.
Yes.
But people assimilate. They throw and forgot everything. That's as generation continue. That's where it loses the history, the culture. America is made with tons of that, and forgetting the foundation of who we are. And you keeping your Armenian background, the languages, the food. Now you're teaching your children and generations same as with me, and that's where we keep it going. We're literally a first generation here.
We are. Yeah, good way of putting it.
First generation American.
Yes.
But but we continue on, and this is why this is why we have no filter. We can talk about it.
And the beauty of all of that is we're creating a legacy here.
Absolutely.
For our children and their children. And it all starts with our parents, and then we continue the path forward. So.
All right, folks, there's going to be a lot of things we're going to talk about. I don't know what's going to be next, but I know it's going to be exciting. And I look forward to our next discussion.
Thank you, KP. I really appreciate you always having me here. And I look forward to our next gathering.
All right, now it's time for us to eat and cheers.